Hey guys, welcome back to Marsha Speaks. This is Marsha, and we're going to be reviewing Insecure Season 4, Episode 8, Low Key Done. So, the episode kind of was not what I expected in the beginning because if you guys watched my last episode, which is on the card above, go watch that. My review was basically, my prediction was that we would see Molly and Asian Bay come back from vacation, and then the two, being Molly and Issa, would intersect in the Ethiopian restaurant, just to see them kind of like react. But instead, it pretty much is how the episode left off on Molly's side, in that Molly is in the Ethiopian restaurant being an annoying customer and sees Issa coming out of her car and pretends to be on her phone. And I'm like, so you saw her and didn't say anything? Like, what? But anywho, she sees Issa and thinks that Issa is going to come. So when she hears the door open, she turns and sees that it's another person, and Issa is going back to her car and drives away. From there, she goes to back home and sees Asian Bay, and she is packing to go on their vacation because it's going to be a double date kind of vacation with Asian Bay's family, specifically his brother and his sister-in-law. So this is like really important because they're both into family, and we know that Molly really is a family type of person. So this is a big step for them in their relationship. But while she's packing, presently, she is telling her boyfriend, yo, I saw Issa at the Ethiopian restaurant, and she didn't even come and talk to me. Like, she literally ghosted me. And that, you can see, it hurt Molly. But at the same time, just like Asian Bay said, like, you didn't go and contact her, like, you didn't go and talk to her. She's like, no, why should I? Basically saying that it's not my fault. Andrew gave this look like saying that, do you really think that you have nothing to say for yourself? Because Molly still thinks that she played no part in how the fight ended 2 episodes ago. Like, she really thinks that she did nothing wrong. And just like Issa was saying, Andrew said the same thing about, like, this was not the time nor the place to have this discussion. We could have done this at a different time. So I'm confused as to why Molly didn't think that she had any accountability in the fight. And I'm starting to wonder, in the beginning I used to think that Andy was like a good balance for Molly, but I'm starting to wonder if Andy is able to check Molly and tell her when she's doing wrong, because he's able to do it in their relationship, but when it comes to Molly and her friendship with other people, we see that he's not as vocal, because both times when Andrew was talking about how he had no problem giving Issa the connect, and to now when we see Andrew telling her like, yo, like, that side eye, like, you really didn't think that you did anything wrong, he didn't vocalize either times, even though you can tell that he's not necessarily agreeing with Molly. Once we leave that aside, we find, like I said before, we find out that Molly has to go back to work right before her flight because of some like issue. When she gets to work, her secretary is dropping the ball. There was supposed to be a meeting that she was supposed to go to, but she needed this information way ahead of time, and her assistant did not tell her about it. So she's consistently dropping the ball a little bit, which makes Molly look bad. However, we didn't really delve into that, like her dynamic at work, as much as we did last season. So I think we're just leaving that alone. From there, we see Molly get to the airport. She almost missed her flight, and she made it because Andrew kind of stopped them from closing the gate. When she gets in the plane, they meet this woman who we know as Living Single. She's what's her name from Living Single. Oh my gosh, it's really annoying me how I can't remember her character's name, but she was in Living Single, and was she also on Real Housewives of Atlanta? Comment below if you remember. I can't remember if that's the person who I think it is. But anywho, that's her, and she is playing a single or a recently divorcee, and a very clingy one at that. But Molly and Andrew like are playing sexual games, I guess you can say, on the flight to Mexico, and we're not gonna discuss all the sexual stuff that happened this episode. Let's just say that they were equally yoked in that department. We're just gonna move past it, okay? When we get to Mexico, we meet Andrew's brother. His name is Victor, I think, or something with a V, so I'm gonna say Victor. And his wife. So, like I said before, this is a big moment for them because they are both family oriented. And I thought that they were going to try and make beef with the two women on the ship, but I don't think that's not what happened at all. Instead, the sister-in-law actually likes Molly. Off the bat, she doesn't know Molly's issues, but she just likes her because she thinks she's pretty, blah, blah. She kept on saying pretty over and over again. So I was like, are you overcompensating? Girl, calm down. Like, we got the compliment once. We don't need to redo this over and over again. But that's just me. Anywho, we find out off the bat that Victor is a planner. He's literally planned every minute of their trip. And Molly didn't want to really do the stuff that was planned for that day because they were exhausted. And when they get to their rooms, freaky stuff again happened. And they end up not meeting Victor and his wife later on that night to do a couple of the activities that they wanted to do. The next morning, they go hiking, a 3-mile hike. And to see the sunrise, I will say that the view was beautiful. And Molly enjoyed it. She didn't complain as much as I thought she would. But she's wondering how will they get back down. They're doing zip lining back down the mountain. And that was great as well. I really like the vibe that we're getting now that we are out of the country and they actually filmed out of the country. So that was really nice to see because it kind of gave the show a breath of fresh air and it made the show have a different dynamic to it versus just being in California. Like it kind of broadened out the show, gave it more dynamic, and showed that Black people do travel. And it's a good thing. Like, I think that we all melanated people should be traveling more just to see what is outside of our comfort zone and what is outside of our perspective and learn more about other people's cultures so we can integrate with everybody. So I really like the fact that they kind of showed that dynamic of the Black experience. After the sunrise view and the zip lining, they started to continue to do all of the activities that Victor wanted. So they are going dancing, they're doing all these other things. It was really nice. And between there, we see their sexual compatibility and that they like to experiment and all that stuff. I really don't know why they showed this part of why they showed this aspect of the relationship, but okay. And just I guess to kind of just show that they are growing as a couple, but I don't think it was really that necessary. But from there, the next big thing is they are at the pool and somebody got water in the sister-in-law's eye. So Molly decided to get out of the pool to, get a towel to help her, hopefully future sister-in-law. And the girl, she was in line, two white people in front of her, got their towels without needing a room key, and they just moved along their merry way. When it was her turn, the attendee was being difficult, asking her for her room key, saying that she can't give her a towel without her room key, and Molly's basically saying that this is a race issue because she literally just saw you give a towel to the white people ahead of her, or white Hispanics ahead of her, and you're not giving that same energy to me. So, but Victor comes in, gives him his room key, and kind of diffuses the situation. And Molly's trying to explain to Andrew in the group, saying that it was a race issue. She didn't have to do all these things over a towel. And Victor's saying, no, let's have this discussion. Do you really think it was about race? It could be that the woman was a stickler about her job. And basically, I've had this discussion before, and sometimes I do think that it's not about race, it's just that individual person being difficult. And other times I'm thinking, was race involved in this? Don't get me wrong, race is always involved, like in the subconscious. But I do know that sometimes we tend to jump the gun and say that it's about race when it's not. And that's sometimes. And it's a case by case basis. But this time I think it was about race, because the person in front of them, who was of a different race than her, was able to get the item without any issues. When I think it's not about race is when I think you are treating each person consistently the same. If you want to get my room key, that's fine. But I should have seen you ask the person ahead of me, ask the person behind me about their room key too. The fact that you skip needing that room key for somebody else, you should have that same energy for each person, not because you think that they're supposed to be there or not. That is why I think in this case it was about race. I did think it was a little uncomfortable when they were talking about the race issue. When Molly was saying that they are only a minority when it suits them, when it's comfortable for them, and Andrew was saying that I'm not like that. And Molly was like, "Oh, you're one of the good ones." Basically that's what she said, and I kind of felt a little uncomfortable, because I feel like that's what some racist white people say with their black friends. "Oh, you're one of the good ones." So it kind of rubbed me wrong, but I get what she is saying, because yes, there are people who are not black, who are also minorities, who have different privileges than black people, and that's fine. And they tend to, keep a blind eye during certain issues, but when it comes to their issues, they want everybody to be at an uproar. I'm not caping for anybody in 2020, so if it's not my issues, I'm not caping. Either way, though, I see Andrew was trying to, look at both sides and not say that Molly was turning this into a race problem. And I'm glad that she kind of, was telling his brother to, fall back a little. Even his wife was telling him to fall back. This was not, again, the time and the place. You really don't know Molly. You don't know this girl because you're finally being introduced to your brother's girlfriend. And this is when you want to have a heavy topic like that. Drop that, leave it for another day. You guys will be on vacation. It kind of ruined the mood for the rest of the night. The next morning, Andrew talks to Molly and apologizes, says that he spoke with his brother and he will have Molly's back more. The other thing that comes up in the conversation when Andrew tells Molly that he talked to his brother about his behavior was the fact that it kind of gave a reflection of Molly and Issa's relationship with Andrew and Victor's relationship, because Andrew said that he and his brother will figure it out. He will not let things fester, which is literally what's happening with Molly's relationship. And I think that was his way of saying that, you need to fix Molly and Issa's relationship as well, without verbally coming at her like that. From there, we see Molly walking on the beach with a very cute bathing suit and finally calling her therapist. And I was so happy to see this, because I think that all people need therapy, first of all. And second of all, it finally will maybe get Molly to realize that, she's been acting weird all season and that she has her own stuff to figure out. The only other thing that I wanted to note this episode was that even though Issa was not physically present during this episode, her presence was known, right? She wasn't physically there, but Molly brought Issa to the trip with her psychologically. And the same thing happened in the episode with Issa when she kept on thinking about Molly throughout the episode. So it kind of just goes to show that this is really affecting them personally because of how close they are. And they need to fix it. It's either they fix it or they just figure a way to cut the cord. It's really one or the other. The promo is basically Lawrence, because Lawrence did show up in the last couple minutes, and they were both coming back from their various locations to California, and it was weird. Molly felt the need to say hello to him, and it was an awkward moment. I don't even know why she did that. I would just let Lawrence keep it pushing, but because Lawrence didn't see her, Molly saw him first. But that was the only time we see Lawrence and we see at the last second Lawrence is calling somebody to meet up with them. And then the promo shows us Lawrence and Issa meeting up, and Lawrence has to tell Issa something. I think Lawrence is going to try to get back together with Issa because Issa is his safety blanket, his security. And I don't think Issa needs to be with anybody at this time. But that is my prediction. Thank you for watching this episode and for watching my review. Please comment down below and tell me what you thought of this episode. Did you think it was a filler? Because it kind of felt like a filler to me. And what do you think should be the next steps for Molly? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to watch the previous reviews of Insecure that I've done, it's over here. If you want to watch my most recent episode reviews, it's over here. And my favorite Charmed review is over here. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and have a great day, guys. Bye. Love you.